Good to see you.
During the month of June, we lost two titans in the film industry, and I will be talking about both of them. The first masterclass act we lost this month was Sir Ian Holmes, known for The Lord of the Rings, Brazil, and Ratatouille. Absolutely a gut punch for me. And the other major loss was Joel Schumacher, the director known for The Lost Boys, the Batman movies, I should say Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and The Phantom of the Opera, just plenty of other movies. This guy was a pretty good titan in the industry. But I'm going to start with Sir Ian Holmes, because Sir Ian Holmes, to me, when I was a child and I saw The Lord of the Rings, there was something about his performance in that movie which was very serious, it was a fun, lighthearted movie, but it was very serious, very scary at points, very intense. And Ian Holmes is one of those people, one of the actors in that movie that really just brought something light to every time he was on screen. He just brought something light. And you really cared for him, even knowing he wasn't even on screen that long. He actually was only in the beginning of the movie and maybe partially in the middle, but he wasn't in it that long. And every scene he was in, he absolutely stole every single one of those moments. And I know I ramble on and on about his performance in the Lord of the Rings franchise, but really that is the one performance that really stuck with me throughout his whole career. And yes, he's had plenty of great other performances, like Alien, just Ratatouille. He's had so many great, memorable performances, but really, him as Bilbo Baggins was so human. It was so genuinely nice to see this guy. Like, one of my favorite scenes is actually the scene in Rivendell, when Bilbo and Frodo are actually having this conversation about the Sting, and Frodo accidentally lets loose the ring in front of him, and he charges out at him. But that scene of him just sitting there crying makes you feel so bad for him, because he's really blaming himself for all the events that are actually happening in the Fellowship of the Ring. It's one of the most heart-wrenching scenes, really. I love it.
I'm sorry for everything.
In my opinion, that's brilliant acting. His facial expressions, his reactions, beautiful. I'm not going to pretend everything Joel Schumacher made was brilliant, or good, or even decent. But Batman and Robin, biggest example. Piece of shit film. I'll admit that. Hell, he's admitted it a few times. He actually apologized for it before even his death. He kept apologizing. I'm sorry for Batman and Robin. But, that movie was made to sell toys, merchandise. I get it, right? He's a filmmaker. He was paid. He did what he did. But Batman Forever, I thought, was actually a decent little movie. It's not great by any means, but it was all right. It's labeled as an all right movie. But for me, he will be remembered for the man who made The Lost Boys. Probably the best vampire film, or one of the best vampire films ever made. It's absolutely a classic. I even liked his work on Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera, I thought, was a decent remake. It was pretty fun. It was enjoyable. The music was pretty damn good. Pretty decent performances. It was a decently well-directed film. I admire Schumacher for his vision for the movie. He had such specific ideals for each of his movies on how he wanted them to look. I cannot think of one of his movies that did not look great. Joel had his bumps in the road, but overall, everybody has their bumps in the road. Everybody has a bad movie in the Hollywood career. No one is perfect out there. No one. I'm going to miss him. He was a visionary genius. He was a great director. He really had a vision for what he wanted to do. Both of these titans are going to be highly missed by me. They were both great in what they did. I love them both. I really hope they rest in peace. It's sad. Both gone, but certainly will never be forgotten.
I've thought up an ending for my book. And he lived happily ever after, to the end of his days.